Good morning, good morning, good morning, women of light. We are having interesting times with the internet, as most people are. Today it didn't want to play, so we're going to the second alternative, and we're doing this as a recording on YouTube and posting it. So good morning to anyone that's watching this, and I would love for you to comment in the thread below and tell us where you're watching from and whether you're watching it as a replay or how you're watching this. I'm with the beautiful Christiane, and we are here discussing her amazing business and that she's an author. I'm going to let her introduce herself. So good morning, Christiane.
Good morning. How are you, Elizabeth?
Yes, I'm wonderful, wonderful, except for the internet, but you know, we don't let those things phase us, right? We just keep plowing on.
That's right.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about you being a body transformation coach? What's that entail?
Yes, for me, a body transformation coach is having people to look at their body and their health mainly, and have them to really what this goes back to is, for me, about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I made the choice of not going on medication. And I think for too many long years, people have been falling back onto medication to correct their health.
So
And
true.
so for me, I had a revelation that I had the choice not to take it on, although my GP told me that it was genetic and I had to have it. And I thought, but I've been healthy all my life, and I don't want to end up with the norm with, when you get about a certain age.
List of medication. Yeah.
Yes. I've watched so much of it. Like, I can see at a certain age, women would, generally people would just have a little box of pills, and they would just like take pills all the time to correct their blood pressure, their cholesterol, and any other condition that they have. And I thought, I don't really want to go down that path, because
No.
I want to stay young forever, right? And
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
my energy.
Yeah.
And I came to that crossroad where I had to make this choice. And the doctor kept telling me I have to take medication. Of course, they increase your medication all the time, and then you become dependent on it.
Yeah.
And
I've just as a side note, and just to confirm what you're saying, when I moved to Sydney, I found a catering company that made food specifically for people that were on medication. So they had a pharmacist on board, and they would look at the medication and then cater to that for, the elderly. So I was looking at it for my mum. And I was talking to the guy, and he was sharing with me a story of a guy that was in hospital, and he couldn't walk. He was nearly in a coma, and they brought them in to ask to feed him, the family. And so he went through the medication, and then went and spoke to the doctors and said, some of these medications are actually counteracting each other, and they're not good for him. So with the doctors, went through and took him down to about half, and through that process he started waking up and walking again. A catering company. So it's so true what you're saying, and we need people like you to, like I personally am in the same boat. I want to make sure that I do everything now for having a healthy existence. You should see my auntie. My auntie's 76, I reckon she is. And she's still using chainsaw. She's still climbing ladders, and completely different to, the other side of the family. And so, yeah, we need people like you. So So what do you do with people?
So, well, I just look at what kind of condition they're in, their body, their health. Actually, mentally, we have to be geared to really wanting something for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and don't be complacent and think like have people tell us what to do.
Yeah.
So we have to make a decision in the way of health, and also weight loss, for example, um, has been portrayed as having a nice, healthy, skinny, sexy body, and it's all to do with looks.
Yeah.
And it's like a competition of looking better than somebody else or the next person.
Yeah.
And look at me, I look fabulous. But the thing is that we have to feel really good about ourselves, mentally, physically, emotionally, and all this is a big package of how we live a full life and really enjoying every single day of our life. So this
Totally.
is why it's important. It's not just about losing weight, and it's just not about looking good, but also having a life. You've just described your aunt, who, she's just full of energy, and she does incredible things that she probably been doing all her life, and she's
Yeah.
already reached, like, she's over 70.
Yeah. Yeah. When I moved to Sydney, she came to my house and helped me, because I don't know how to use a chainsaw. She helped me get into the backyard and cut up all the wood for the fireplace. Like, just amazing. But you're right, she has been eating healthy all my life, and taking supplements, and she's the one that I suppose I've taken over, taken after. We've got a running joke in our family that I should have been her daughter, because I'm so much like her when it comes to food and things like that. Yeah. And so yeah, but so I'm assuming that with your diabetes experience, you studied food and really looked at what you were putting into your body. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And the reason I think that I made that decision as well is because my two elder sisters, we're only about a year apart. And that would allow me as well, is because for several years before I was diagnosed, they had already gone on insulin injection
Wow.
daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is not really what I want for myself. And had me immediately think, I have to make a choice here. And I thought it was very bold of me to do that and defy the doctor. But
Yeah.
I think I had the guts to do it because I knew I was worthy of it. My health
Yeah.
was so important. And
Yeah.
if I didn't make that decision then, that that would have been the end of me, like
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
in poor health. And once I went down that path, it would have been so hard to go back. So it had to be made there and then. And then, although I had no idea how I was going to heal myself, I had to, once I made the decision, I suppose, I think sometimes when you make a decision in life, everything comes into place. You find ways to make it happen. So
Totally.
I think this is what happened with me. And it was probably the best decision of my life. And I think also that this happening to me had made me, it was a big realization that now I have to take care of my health. And
Yeah.
what am I going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been a blessing in
Absolutely.
disguise,
Yeah.
really.
It's so true, isn't it? Because I'm in that transition. I'm 48 this year, I think. Actually, I think I'm 49 this year. I've got to work that out. And in the last year, really, I've been in that space of going, okay, this food might taste good, but what is it doing? Like, what's the choice I'm making here? And so, just slowly taking that time to weed out the things that I know are beautiful and I love them, but they're not good for my body, you know. So and looking at it each time and making that decision, you know, will this serve me in the long run? Because it might taste great now, but is it going to serve me in the long run, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah, that's a very good point, because what really I still cheat, right?
me
We are
too. Me too.
human beings. I was when human beings, food, especially when it's prepared by somebody else and it just like tastes so good, and it goes back to what you were brought up on,
Yes.
and you go,
Yeah.
oh, I love this taste and I really have to have some.
Yeah.
Especially I think in winter we tend to be that way, something that's really prepared and it's nice
Yeah.
and hot. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but what I do is really, if we have to cheat, then we have to be good most of the time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So then our body can cope with it.
Yeah. I
Right.
remember, that's so true. I remember I had a friend that, this was quite a few years ago. It was one of the first cruises that I went on, and she was a food, you know, health foodie type person. I think she's a health coach or something. And she, I was saying, oh my gosh, I'm just about to go on this cruise and there's going to be all these amazing food and I love dessert, right? And so she said, don't deny yourself because you're on, you know, a 7 or 8 day cruise. Don't deny yourself because you're going to kick yourself all the way through. But every day have one cheat meal, but the other meals make them healthy. And it made such a big difference, you know, like, I mean, that was on a cruise, right? You can't do that in life day to day. You
Yeah.
maybe a cheat day in a week. I don't know how you would do it, but yeah, it made such a big difference. I know I didn't come off that cruise with 10 pounds or like 10 kilos more, you
Right.
know. Yeah, and I felt good because, you know, when you go and eat foods like that you're not used to, or you know, like your body knows it's not good for you, you end up coming off, you know, feeling lethargic and knowing that you've done the wrong thing for your body. So, Christiane, you've created a book through the process, yeah? What's
Yeah.
your book called?
The book is called Health Dynamics, a unique principle of self-healing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for me to also being able to heal myself is because like so many years ago, I was exposed to Zen macrobiotic, and it's like a Japanese way of eating and balancing anything in your body. So I think that um, the diet according to your blood type is based on that principle,
Okay.
because what it talks about is your body is made of alkaline and acid,
Mm.
and it's only when it's out of balance that your body starts having you start getting sick. And so that's why, and when I decided to heal myself, I followed this diet rigidly. And prior to that, for some reason, I heard about it, and then I thought I have to go on this diet because it will prepare me for so many years down the track when the doctor's going to say, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you're just going to have to eat steamed vegetables. And I thought, for me to prevent the harshness of having to transition in something like that, or change the way I eat, or yeah, I look after my health, then I might as well start changing now. And I started to learn about it and I adopted it. I didn't stick to it all the time, but I knew the concept and I knew I could apply it anytime. So when I was diagnosed, I went straight onto it. So I really had a modality to actually fall onto to start with. And then I added supplement to it, like a detox for my liver, and something to balance my sugar, and and another supplement to actually rebuild my cells. So there were just these 3 simple things that I did, and I stuck to this for about 9 months. And after the 9 months, I'd lost 10 kilos without going on a diet.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've actually reconditioned my whole body to be able to go back into health again. It was so simple.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just knowing the principles, as you said, right? So you've got all that in your book as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yes. So this is mostly talking about the Zen macrobiotic and a little bit about body wisdom, about the power of the mind. So it covers quite a few things, and I also give some recipes. And I was brought up on chocos, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I had put a few, I mean, nobody wants to know about chocos, but actually it's really good. Got a lot of good things in it. And I was brought up on that. And I mean, how cheap is it if you had some chocos in your backyard and you just make a nice salad or with a vinaigrette sauce or a nice white sauce? I put so many of this to really have people see how simple it is
Yeah.
to eat well.
I've got to say that when we were discussing having this interview and you were talking about chocos and you shared one of your recipes with the vinaigrette sauce, I'm self-isolating with a family up in Central Coast, New South Wales, and I went and spoke to them about do we have any chocos or do you want to put a choco bun in? Because I'm like, when you were talking about it, because I have had chocos too, but some because they take on the flavor of other things, they can be quite bland themselves, right? So a lot of people don't see their benefit. And
Yeah.
and so when you were talking, I'm like, oh man, I need to try some of those recipes. So I'm in the process of getting chocos created in our backyards.
Oh, yeah. It's so simple and it's organic, and you
Yeah.
can zap something together in such a short time. You can actually mix it with, I remember my mother used to have it, she'd have a mix of different vegetables. Actually have chocos and potatoes and carrots,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then make a nice salad with that and put some boiled eggs in it. And all this is organic food, and it
yeah,
doesn't have to be expensive. And if it's grown
exactly.
in the backyard, it's organic. And I believe they put at some point McDonald's actually replaced apples with chocos.
Yes. Yeah.
And,
Because they're
and
cheaper, right? Yeah.
but actually it's full of vitamins, and there was nothing wrong with it, really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, Christiane, how do people get in contact with you if they want to know more about your coaching and your book? What's
So they can actually friend request me on Facebook,
yeah,
and we can actually communicate through Messenger, or I do have a landing page for my book as well, and we can probably put it in
in
the link.
here? Yeah, that would be great. And
I
you've also got some Facebook group or page
Yes,
that you can put the link in. Yeah.
yes, and I've got a group called Fabulous Body Babes.
Yeah.
So it's all to do
Fantastic.
with weight loss and an incentive for people to really want to lose a few kilos, so they can join that as well.
Yeah.
And also my email address would be Christiane at healthdynamics.net.au.
Excellent, excellent. And
Yeah.
so, and people can have a free consult with you if you want a free consult. Just put in yes, please down the bottom here, and Christiane will be able to get in contact with you as well. And so, at the end of each interview, I always ask the women for some wisdom, because this is Wednesday Wisdom. So, have you got any wisdom for us? You said you were going to grab some wisdom out of your book, which is great. I'd love
Right.
to hear.
Sure. Under the title of Body Wisdom, I've got a quote here from Deepak Chopra, and
Mm-hmm.
it says, if we are creating ourselves all the time, then it is never too late to begin creating the bodies we want instead of the wants we mistakenly assume we are stuck with.
Yeah, wow. That's so good, isn't it? Hey, that's a really good quote for like I could feel that go into my body then, because we wake up looking the same each day, right? So you sort
Yes.
of go into this, we're stuck with it. But we're conscious creators, and everything is a vibration. So we can, if we put the energy into it, shift whatever we want to.
Yeah, it's a power of choice, right?
Yeah, power of choice. So
You can
true.
do it just like this.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Christiane. I'm sure that a lot of people got some great value from that. And if you're interested in grabbing Christiane's book, she's going to put the link, the landing page in here as well, so that you can have a look at it and see, some of those beautiful recipes and what sort of wisdom she's got in there. Enjoy the rest of your day, women of light, and we will see you next Wednesday. Take care. Thanks,
Thanks,
Christiane.
Elizabeth. Bye.
See ya.